quick survey of the 12s out there. I want to know, with the countdown to kickoff on, how confident are you in your Seattle Seahawks making the postseason in 2023? If you think they'll make the playoffs, go ahead and spam 12 in the comments section as much as humanly possible. If you don't think they're going to be a playoff team, comment and tell me why you don't think they will be. Quick survey, let me know, and we'll get started with today's show. It's your favorite show. Seahawks Today is back in action as we're talking about roster bubble candidates for your Seattle Seahawks heading into training camp. We're going to examine the latest article from Seahawks Wire of 6 veterans that are on the roster bubble, as we'll see whether they make the roster or not for your Seattle Seahawks, and let you know what they had to say and tell you what we think of as far as these 6 players go and their chances of making the roster. Let's start with Dee Eskridge at the wide receiver position. And I got to tell you, when we talk about roster bubble, when it comes to cuts and trades and all that, I would say that over the last couple of months here on Seahawks Today, we probably haven't talked about another player more than Dee Eskridge in this regard. And it's been interesting because you're looking at a guy that was the second-round pick as recently as 2021, but doesn't have a whole lot to show for it. Now, we know the talent's there, and there might be other ways to work in Dee Eskridge potentially, because you think about this, folks. This is a guy that he's already being passed up on the depth chart for the number 3 receiver position with Jackson Smith and Jigba coming in. So now you got to think, okay, if he is going to get playing time, how can he get on the field? Well, in college, he had experience not just at wide receiver, but also at corner, kick returner, and punt returner. Highly doubt he's playing defense, but maybe you find a way to plug him in on special teams and see if you can get him out there and get his raw speed and athleticism on display. The statistics aren't great in the limited time we've seen him. Just last year had 7 catches for 58 yards. He's got 17 total catches for his career. So, what does Seahawks Wire have to say as far as Dee Eskridge goes? Nobody needs a better summer than Eskridge, who missed 14 games over his first 2 years and hasn't looked great when he's been on the field. Now he has to compete for snaps with the athletic freak that is Mr. Young. Now with a year of experience under his belt, plus the best crop of undrafted wide receivers in the entire league. It's going to be competitive. We'll see what happens with Dee Eskridge. Best of luck to him. Hopefully he ends up making the roster for his own sake. But I'll say this. When it comes to the Seahawks, they're going to be fine no matter what. Whether he's there or not, it's just a matter of he can put it together for his own right. I would hate to see a second-round pick wasted. But the Seahawks are going to be okay either way. What do you think? Our pinned comment today. Will the Seahawks cut Dee Eskridge? Is he going to make the final roster or not? Weigh in. Tell me in the comment section what you think. Y for yes, in for no. If the Seahawks will cut Dee Eskridge or not, let me know what you think. Next on the list, we find our running back DeeJay Dallas. And the Seahawks made some moves when it came to the running back position this offseason. Now, we saw Rashad Penny make his way to the Philadelphia Eagles. But to replace him, they went with Zach Charbonnet in the second round, the running back from UCLA. And then Kenny McIntosh from Georgia was also drafted. So where does that leave DeeJay Dallas? Remember, Travis Homer's gone now, too. So with DeeJay Dallas, this is a guy that was a former fourth-round pick back in 2020. 44 games played. He's got 2 career starts. And the yards per carry last year wasn't bad. Over 5 yards per carry, 35 rushing attempts total with 186 yards last year. Can DeeJay Dallas not only find a way to keep his roster spot, but also compete for playing time in what looks like a loaded running back room? More from Seahawks Wire on DeeJay Dallas. Dallas is probably the safest name on this list. However, fans shouldn't assume that he can't be a part of roster cutdowns at the end of August. Zach Charbonnet's draft status makes him the clear number 2 running back under Ken Walker. So Dallas has to compete for the RB3 role with rookie Kenny McIntosh, who's bigger and a year and a half younger to boot. So there you have it. We'll see what ends up happening with DeeJay Dallas as far as that goes. But What do you think? Predict it for me. Who will be the Seahawks' top running back this season? Is it Kenneth Walker? Is it Zach Charbonnet? Does DeeJay Dallas surprise us? Or Kenny McIntosh? Weigh in the comment section. Tell me who you think the Seahawks' top running back this season will be. The next guy on this list, he's got his work cut out for him as far as making this roster goes. And that's Tyler Mabry at the tight end position. You look at the tight end spot for the Seahawks, and we know what they have with Fant, Disley, Parkinson, those guys. I don't know if the Seahawks are interested in carrying 4 tight ends. And in Mabry's case, he would obviously be the odd man out here. But there's a decent chance he could still stick around on the practice squad of some sorts. Undrafted in 2020 out of Maryland. He's played in 10 games the last 2 seasons. Last year's stats, he made the most of his 1 catch that was out there, 1 reception for 7 yards, and it was a touchdown. So his track record was perfect last year when it came to receptions of touchdown percentage right there at 100%. More on Tyler Mabry. Here is what Seahawks Wire had to say. Seattle's tight ends will likely suffer more than any other position group this year, even though it's no fault of their own, with the Seahawks likely embracing more 3-receiver sets. Every tight end on the roster gets bumped down a spot. With Mabry at the end of that list and 2 undrafted rookies coming in behind him, he may find himself squeezed out from both sides. And also think about this, too, with Mabry. We're hearing a lot of momentum about Jake Bowo, and with the lack of speed but the size that Bowo has, he might be a de facto 4th tight end of some sorts, which wouldn't be good for Mabry as far as that goes when it comes to making the roster. Let's go to the offensive tackle spot now. That's where we find Greg Eiland at this spot. And if you're not familiar with Greg too much, that's okay, because you probably haven't seen him. He hasn't played a snap in a NFL regular season game, but he's been around the organization the last couple of years, undrafted out of Mississippi State back in 2021. And he is versatile. He does have experience at left tackle, left guard, right tackle in college. So in theory, you could try him out a couple different spots here. But if you can't get on the field, kind of hard to realistically stay around as far as that goes. More from Seahawks Wire and Greg Eiland. So far, the Seahawks haven't been able to find a reliable backup as of yet at offensive tackle behind starters Charles Cross and Abe Lucas. Eiland should be a part of that competition. However, with Jake, Stone, and Jalen all younger or having invested draft picks in their favor, Eiland might be the odd man out once the games are set to begin. Yeah, it's unfortunate for him, but I think that's most likely scenario. If we were to guess, he's probably not going to make the roster. Several more names to get to here in just a second, but first, your chance to be the judge here on Seahawks Today. Your chance to be a little bit critical here. I want you to be honest with me. Who's a veteran that the Seahawks should cut? Who is somebody you do want to see them move on from and say sayonara to? Let me know in the comment section. Name a veteran the Seahawks should cut. Next on the list, we find outside linebacker Alton Robinson. And with Alton Robinson, we were talking about him a while back, and I remember going through the comments section, and somebody said in the comments to the effect of, I forgot that Alton Robinson was even on this Seahawks team. And can you really blame anybody that's forgot that Alton Robinson's there? Was not around all of last year. He's been passed up on the depth chart where even if he does make the team, he would likely be 3rd string at his position. A former 5th-round pick out of Syracuse. He's played in 30 career games with 3 starts, but that knee injury kept him out all of last year, and we've seen at his position what the Seahawks have done draft-wise, that they have loaded up, where they've put an emphasis there with some of these young cats, and so it's going to be hard for him to get on the field anyway, even if he were to stay around. More from Seahawks Wire on Alton Robinson. No position group is more crowded than Seattle's mostly young and unproven linebacking core. Aside from Uchenna and Nwosu, exactly none of them have proven that they can be a long-term starter at this level as of yet. Alton Robinson missed all of last season with a knee injury, and he's entering the last year of his contract, so if he doesn't show something soon, he may get written off. The final player that we will discuss today is Tre Brown, formerly of the Oklahoma Sooners, a fourth-round pick back in 2021. And I'm always going to be partial to Tre because he's, like me, a Tulsa guy. He went to Jinx High School there. But his chances of making the roster, it kind of reminds me last year of Sidney Jones, where I think we could all sit here and say that, like Sidney Jones last year, Tre Brown's a talented player, but just simple math here. Not everybody can have a roster spot. And Tre might be on the outside looking in at this point in time with what the Seahawks have done, investing in the position with, Devin Witherspoon, obviously, and last year, of course, you talk about Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant. Tre Brown, I think, although we haven't seen a whole lot of him over the last couple of years, I think the talent is there, that he could be a starting corner in this league. I know the PFF grades aren't great from last season with a 40.5 overall, 64.2 run defense, 36.3 coverage grade, but he just didn't see the field that much. In Tre Brown's case, I hate it for him, but I think he might be best off just getting a fresh start somewhere he could shine and show off his talents and ability, because it's just too crowded right now, and the Seahawks have kind of already put their cards forward for their plans for the future. And I don't know if Tre Brown is necessarily a part of those plans for the future. More from Seahawks Wire on Tre Brown. Finally, there's the case for third-year cornerback Tre Brown. Well, he showed some potential in his 3 starts in his rookie year in 2021. Injuries have taken a major toll on Brown's development. While Seattle used a 4th-round pick out of him, it's difficult to see where Brown fits in with the current cornerback rotation. There's at least 2 players ahead of him on the depth chart at both boundary spots as well as in the slot. And a lot of people just assumed that Mike Jackson was going to lose his starting job with the Seahawks drafting Devin Witherspoon, but Mike Jackson stepped up and played really well. So it just doesn't look good for Tre Brown as far as that goes. So we asked you earlier to name somebody the Seahawks should cut. Now, who's a veteran they should keep? And don't give me an answer like DK Metcalf or Geno Smith or Bobby Wagner. No. Give me a roster bubble player that you think the Seahawks should keep when it comes to these veterans. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit me up on social media. Enjoying this week in Phoenix. The Summer of Jones continues on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and more at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there, and I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.